Four nations faced off, and Canada came out on top. I'm Tristan, joined by Mackenzie, and, that's right, and we have a special guest, Chad. Chad, thanks for joining us.
Awesome. I appreciate everyone having me on today. As anybody knows here, I'm the Nadukes media manager as well as a scout for them on the side. So I grew up out actually in Spruce Grove for most of my life. Started out with the Spruce Grove Saints before it went to the BCHL for 2.5 years. Kind of working with the media, start with like the Twitter and all that before playing with all Canva and kind of, working with other projects and kind of, taking a bigger role with Nate here. And I don't know if I should share this, but I don't know if the coach might tone me down a bit on this one, but it's kind of funny. As I was reaching out, I think at the time after I was done with Spruce Grove, I ended up reaching out to a fair bit of teams in the summer, and Nate was one of them that I reached out to, and funny enough, the coach was actually running the account. Not too many people would see a head coach running an account, obviously. That's a little rare, but...
I would say very rare, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, when I found that out, when I had a good discussion, I don't want to go into depth with that, but yeah, it was kind of, I kind of like, it was a whirlwind laugh a little bit on that, but no, in all fairness, Felly is, he's a really good coach for us, so I think we have the right tools, so.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to do, Chad's going to join us for our Four Nations chat, and then we have ACAC playoff preview. So playoffs for the men's and women's teams here at NAIT start on Thursday. So once we're finished with Four Nations, we'll kind of get into what we need to expect coming into the playoff season for the Ooks here.
Yeah, I will start us off then with the Four Nations. Obviously, Canada won. Big OT goal from the King of Edmonton himself, Connor McDavid. But overall, this tournament was awesome.
It was so much fun.
And as a diehard hockey fan, obviously, it was great to see best on best. But for the growth of the game and bringing in new viewers, I think it did an excellent job.
I mean, everybody was calling Brady and Matthew Tkachuk the Bash Brothers. And now Matthew Tkachuk was on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, and they were on New Heights with Jason and Travis Kelce. Brady was just on Spit and Chicklets. They are the face of the NHL right now. As much as I hate them.
Yeah, they really are. Chad, what do you think of the tournament?
I'll give my kind of thoughts on that. I honestly thought the Four Nations was probably the best thing I think the NHL has done in a long, long time.
10 years?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we've been waiting for best on best, and I can't stress this enough, but way too long. Especially with Crosby being pretty much over in his career, and Brad Marchand and Mark Stone and all those guys, you kind of want to implement this now, and I think if you do this every 2 years, and even with the Olympics now, which is going to be even more exciting, I think this is going to be the cherry on top, to be honest.
Yeah, and even I listened to John Cooper on Spit and Chicklets yesterday, and he was talking about how he was the coach for that team North America that Matthews, McDavid, Marner, all those guys were on, and he said it's so much different actually putting on the flag on your chest, putting that maple leaf on there, putting USA on there, I guess.
Before we get too far into this as well, I said I was going to do this. I have to do this live on pod.
Oh, right.
Jordan Bennington, I am sorry. I truly do apologize. I talked a lot of shit, and you proved me wrong, and I'm happy about it, but I apologize live on pod.
I also talked a lot of shit, and I really have to also take back everything I said because he proved me wrong, and I always say I love to be proven wrong. And you know what? Thank you, Jordan Bennington. I still don't like you, but I do respect you.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's fair.
I get what Blues fans see now. Him and that swagger. You hate seeing it when you're playing against it. But, man, when he was in red and that swagger, playing the puck, just his aura about him, it's damn, I'm glad he's in net.
You're an Oilers fan when every time he goes to play the puck, you're like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
kind of like the Mike Smith mojo back kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly.
Exactly.
Yeah, fun stat. Bennington led the tournament in high danger saves,
Which is
which
crazy.
is
That's
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
He beat Hellebuck.
Yeah, and high danger saves. Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
But still.
And I was still saying go with Aiden Hill. And everyone's like, what are you saying? Like, what are you actually
I was
talking about?
also on. We need to put Hill in at
Yeah.
at some point. I really
thought
thought like
so.
game 2 we should have at least tested him, and then we didn't. Then game 3, I'm like, well, now you can't really put him in. And then Benner sweeps all 4 games.
Yeah, because I had that conversation probably multiple times with both of you
Yeah.
where we were just saying, we were like, put Hill in, please. Which I'm glad they didn't listen to me because literally, what do any of us know? Apparently nothing.
Apparently nothing.
Management wouldn't have liked my answer anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
I still stand by that Thompson should have been here, but you know,
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
I honestly could counter argue. Who's the other goalie I'm thinking of? I wouldn't have had Samuel Montembeau. if I'm being
no,
honest.
he
was terrible.
he was
No
only
offense.
here because they wanted a Montreal Canadian on a team
Agreed.
as it was hosted there.
Yeah.
And when they realized Suzuki got cut and Caulfield got cut, they're like, well, we can put him in 3.
That's just it.
Yeah.
And
Are you going to say Blackwood?
I was gonna actually say Blackwood. That's
Yeah.
what it was. Yeah, that's the one I couldn't have in mind right now. I honestly think if you ran those 3 goalies, and I mean, who would you start though? Like, who would you really start in there?
I'd give Bennington game 1 still, benefit of the doubt in the Olympics.
Yeah.
And if something goes terribly wrong, then you throw in Thompson.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
And Blackwood's your third, and he's still like pretty solid. So you can't really like argue that a whole bunch. Whereas Bennington, Montembeau, and Hill, everybody's like, they all suck.
Yeah, no, for sure.
No.
And it does just come down to, again, like, who knows, maybe next season Thompson just falls off a cliff and is back to whatever Vegas thought he was, which was never bad. I don't know. I still don't know why they traded him for nothing.
Yeah.
But
And I mean, I feel bad for him, honestly. When I found out in the summer, I don't know if me and Mackenzie talked about it, but, you know, he was at I think it was a private signing after the
Yeah.
draft in
Yeah.
Vegas.
yeah, he
when
was at the draft signing autographs, and someone came up and was like, hey, you just got traded.
Yeah, and he had middle of that had to stop signing autographs. Like that's terrible.
Seriously.
Literally terrible.
Like kids are
management.
coming up to you with your Vegas jersey and you're signing it, and somebody's like, yeah, you're not on this team anymore.
You're going to Washington, which at the time was a terrible fate.
Yeah.
It
You're
was,
like, oh,
agreed.
fuck me.
And now Ovi's, 13 goals away from breaking the record?
Oh,
It might
yeah.
even be 12
I think
because he
it's
scored
12.
last night.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, that's insane.
Yeah. Okay. Also, we should talk about like Sid and
Mm-hmm.
McKinnon and like honestly this entire team. Also, Brendan Hagel, not the most skilled guy,
No, I love
not
him.
gonna lie,
No.
but he is a content machine and also a quote machine, and I want him at the Olympics purely for that.
Yeah, no, 100%. I really wasn't too familiar with Hagel. I kind of, in earlier versions of the pod was like, well, he's only here because of, Cooper and everything. But I see it now. I see the vision. Sorelli, I don't see the vision. I'm sorry, Sorelli. I don't see the
No.
vision.
No,
but Hagel, you deserve to be here.
Yeah, I agree. But I get like why John Cooper did, and like that line, when other lines weren't gelling, it was the only one that was really going.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. How about though, like if you had like I was saying to Mackenzie this, and like this was like a back and forth conversation, and like I feel like if you want to bulk up your Canada roster for next year in the Olympics, 2026, would you not want Tom Wilson on your team?
The way he's playing
Like,
this season,
on.
absolutely.
Yes. Oh my
110%.
God, yes.
Like take Sorelli up, please, and just give Wilson in there. Like who would you put him with? Sam Bennett and
Sam
Marchand,
Bennett.
maybe?
Oh my
Marchand.
God.
That would be a 34 line, like-
That'd be mean.
I
That's a
would love
bruiser.
that line.
I have a hot take for the Olympics next year. Celebrini's on the top line.
Ooh,
You go Celebrini, McDavid, and either Marner or Point.
that's actually
Damn.
a good choice.
I would put Point over Marner.
Yeah, I would as well.
Agreed.
But
Yeah. Okay. Also, Marner, kind of invisible through most of the tournament, but then he had like 2 really big plays. So I'm like,
Yeah.
can I hate on the guy? Like, not really.
no, you can't.
No.
He got 2 assists in the championship game, 2 big assists, game tying and game winning goal, primary assist no less. It took Matthews until that game to get his first shot on net.
Yeah.
So which leaf is more important? Which leaf is better?
Ooh.
I don't know if we can really say
No.
that.
Big debate in the Leafs Nation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we really have any Leafs fans listening to this.
Let's hope not.
Also, something that I said to Tristan earlier, and I'd like to know your thoughts, Chad. I think Jack Hughes and Marner are like similar style of play, and also their careers, I feel like, are going to go very similarly.
I honestly, I could see that. You know what? I don't think that's wrong in many ways. I see that just for the fact of they have a lot of pressure on both of them, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, New Jersey wants to get back in that playoff push, and Toronto's just in the mix of getting over the hump of that first round, right? And I think personally, with a lot of pressure they have and top lines, the minutes they eat every night, I think, both are going to pan out the same path. I feel like, if not, my only critique is either one of them staying healthy, right? Like Jack
Yeah.
Hughes has had a couple injury prones, obviously his brother Quinn too here and there, but
And Luke, too.
Luke, yeah,
Yeah.
like they've all struggled a little bit. And again, I wonder if that comes down to conditioning a bit or even just how they're recovering, right? I mean, we've seen even after the break here, teams are kind of slowly getting back and a little
Yeah.
rusty. So,
Oh, yeah.
but I honestly could see that, Marner and Jack Hughes, very similar like style play. And yeah.
Also, I loved seeing, okay, like, that's not like a nice way to put it, but McKinnon go at Hughes. He ran him over once.
Yes.
He got back up, and then he got ran over by McKinnon again. I was like, bro, you got to have, like, some kind of backbone here. Like, quit letting the Nate Dogg just come at you like that.
Four Nations did a lot of good for some players and a lot of bad for others.
Oh my gosh! Like how about Kyle Connor? Come
Yeah.
on, like
Yeah.
fourth line and then
Scratched
scratched
as
for
the
final?
highest scorer, as your highest scorer on the team, just in terms of like goals on the season. Ridiculous.
Crazy. Like,
Do you guys know who they scratched for Kyle Connor? Was it Chris Kreider?
Yeah, it was
it
Kreider.
was Chris Kreider.
Oh my god!
Because he's tougher to play against. Which I
kind of looks like you
disagree
needed a
with.
goal.
Yeah,
You need
I'd
that
say
timely goal in that matter.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to say he would have been he could have been a factor. To
He
be
could have
honest,
been.
honestly.
Yeah.
Any way. I mean, it wasn't one line in that whole final. You had to have all four lines rolling.
Yeah.
Regardless, I got nervous more so for overtime personally.
Yeah.
Like, I
Oh,
was
yeah.
almost had a heart attack.
Well, again, that's where Bennington came up huge. Like
So
he
huge.
saved that game like 3 different times in that
that
overtime.
glove save on Matthews, I thought that was
Oh,
in.
I know.
Like,
Oh my,
Oh.
that was scary. And honestly, I think he just, let's be honest, he loves TD Garden. Like
He does.
The
Oh, yeah.
2019
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cup and now this.
it just like
Bruins.
brings back all those memories probably, and he's like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. Also, I have to say like something kind of funny that I sent to our class group chat. So we all were talking about the game before it started, and me and Tristan are like, okay, time to lock in. Everybody stop messaging. Like, we got to watch this game. And then McKinnon scores, and both me and Tristan immediately are like, Nate Dogg, let's fucking go. And in my basement, I'm barking like, "Roo, roo, 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 roo." Dylan's looking at me like I have 3 heads. And then I texted in the group chat. I said, help, I can't stop barking, because literally I was so fired up.
I know. Getting that first goal was so big.
So big.
It was
Yeah.
crucial timing, honestly. Like it couldn't happen at any better time. I feel like.
No, and yeah, the way he got it off, beat Hellebuck from a high shot, cross crease or cross the grain. It's how you have to beat Hellebuck in those kind of situations. And then losing the lead hurt.
Yes, big time.
Yeah.
That was like a little bit of like it kind of hurt.
Yeah.
We were also like, I think Cooper was kind of overplaying our top guys
A little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Which I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
ooh, no, this is not okay. Like we've seen it before, and you know what happens. When,
And then leave it to Bennett to go
Exactly,
top shelf. He got that puck up.
big time.
Yeah.
I think
And
he was a factor. Would
he
he not
was.
be the unsung hero a little bit? Like
Little
no one
bit.
really
Oh,
talked
yeah.
about him, and I mean Hagel, right? Like
Yeah, like
Yeah.
unsung hero, definitely. Like I wasn't against Bennett. I think
No.
my position was okay. He's here, but
Yeah.
he was a factor. He was a bigger
He
factor
really
than
was.
some. Like
100%.
I think Konechny probably played his way off this roster for the Olympics. I think Sorelli's probably done the same.
Maybe would you put Jarvis back in? Like, is that an argument?
I might, just because I think he's younger and can
Agreed.
still take that next step next season. But it is that is a conversation I'm willing to have about Jarvis. But like guys like Scheifele have to be in.
100%.
Yeah.
You cannot like afford to not to have them, right?
No.
And maybe a bit more toughness. I mean, we saw with the U.S. like that group chat thing. Come on.
Yeah.
Like
That was crazy. That was crazy.
Okay, but Hagel coming out with the Champions group chat afterwards was peak.
That
It
was,
was so good.
I
It was-
didn't want to screenshot. I was actually telling Mackenzie this. We were at the game, or I think it was after the game
It
or
was
something.
after, yeah.
Yeah, and I look on Hagel's story, and I just saw the group chat with the Canada flag, and I was like, oh god, this is gonna blow up. And that was my first reaction. I'm like, hey Mackenzie, I'm not screenshotting this, but just go take a look for yourself. And as soon as you know it, like other platforms like TSN, Bar Down were just screenshotting it
Yep.
and just blew up. And I was like, oh man.
Yep. I now follow Brandon Hagel over this
Yep.
because I was like, I like this guy.
He's
I-
savage.
Yeah.
I will say. And you know what? I think he's coming in the summer back home because he lives in Morinville, his family. So
Yeah.
I would love to. I think he's golfing, so I might hopefully get to go see him. We'll see.
That would be cool.
That would be really
very
cool.
cool.
I think my biggest surprise of this tournament, the point leader.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Zach Werenski leads the tournament
Yeah.
in points with 6. All assists. How
That's crazy.
Is he the Norris? Like, is he like the top of the heat for the Norris right now?
in our
Hands down?
first episode, we did our trophy predictions. I said Werenski.
He did.
That's a really good.
And
take.
this was what 7 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
First week
Wow.
of classes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's crazy.
he's had an amazing year, and again, this was one of those players where this tournament only helped them.
Yeah.
Like help them either get
Yes.
money, get trade value, get whatever. Like he is turning out to be one hell of a defenseman, and helps with Columbus and helping them stay at least relevant this season.
Yeah, totally. Also, Jacob Slavin.
Yeah, that's
Underrated,
another guy.
right?
That's another
Yeah.
guy who's been underrated and was put
So
into
underrated.
into the
Yes.
spotlight because of this tournament, of people finally recognizing like, holy shit, this guy is a great defensive
Yeah.
defenseman.
Agree. Like he was such a big factor for the
Oh
U.S.
my
and even
God.
McAvoy too. Like before
Yeah.
his whole infection, I know
Yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna jump into that, but yeah, just how he was a key factor for the Team USA and what he's brought this year for the Bruins. Even
Yeah.
though they've been very mediocre this year, in my
Yeah.
opinion. And he's brought a lot too, just no different than Werenski, right?
Yeah, someone who sat here and said he only made the team because he's like the step kid of the coach. he
did say
definitely
that. He did say that.
he definitely showed me why he deserved to be on that team. But yeah, before
Hey,
the
we all make
unfortunate.
mistakes. That's okay.
Yeah, no, it's totally
I
fine.
make a mistake at least once every other sentence. So
Yeah, we have a running bit on the show called Misinformation with Mac.
yeah, because all I do is just spew lies, which honestly,
It could
it's
be
more
facts.
fun.
It could
It's
be facts or
one day it
fiction.
could be facts.
I think another player who really got good stock out of this tournament was Mikael Grunland. And what a
Yes.
pickup for
Yeah.
Dallas that's now looking like
Seriously.
holy shit.
Looking back at that, I mean, besides Cody Ceci was probably like a free pickup in that deal.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
theoretically, I thought about it and I'm like, they got a massive steal.
They did.
Oh, 100.
They found their guy and they got him before the deadline.
and that
Yes.
flew under the radar. Like
Big
Well, because it
time.
was in the middle of the Rantanen and
Yeah.
the everything else that was going
Yeah.
on. They're just like, actually, we're just going to sneak this in here. And
yeah,
Jim Rutherford, like, I don't know, he doesn't get
Seriously.
credit for Dallas. Like, I know Haskinen's out for, I heard now it might be the second round. Is
Yeah.
what I'm hearing.
Oh,
And that's
really?
if Dallas gets there, which
Yeah.
I think they're deep. But what do they do in this scenario? Like, are they going to go for a defenseman? Like, I don't think they have a lot of cap right
No.
now. either,
no.
at
they
all.
can't. We need a
Yeah.
defenseman.
We-
we need a defenseman, so they're not allowed to.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Like,
But-
talk about our defense.
Yeah, but Dallas, they always have like these sneaky good seasons, and I think it's because of where they are that
Yes.
they don't get talked about enough, and they always are like a top 10 team, top 7, I would say usually.
100%.
At least
So-
recently. And again, they were able to build their entire future in one draft. As Pavelski and Ben and all of them are out the door, they bring in Johnson and they bring in Robertson and they bring in Heiskanen and they bring in now Harley and Bork and what's the other guy's name?
Coven.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
And it's like within the last 3 years, they've redone their entire core while still picking up Matt Duchesne's, who go in on $3 million, drop 30 goals. And
Yeah.
they go and get Mikael Granlund, and they just keep making these sneaky good moves, and I hate it.
Even like Mason Marchment though.
Yeah,
How long
Marchment.
He's been sneaky. Like I think Florida made a mistake getting rid of him.
Yeah.
his
Oh,
rookie
for
year.
sure.
And I mean,
For sure.
Florida's made a lot of like iffy. They've drafted good, but they've gotten rid of a lot of good players over the past.
But
Yeah.
okay, also something I've noticed is like Florida and Calgary are somehow like trade partners, because every like kind of star that Calgary has had has gone to Florida and was on that Stanley Cup winning team last year, which is just a weird like partnership to have, and you would never think of it, but
I mean,
they
we
fleece
got a bit of
Calgary
a
every single time.
true. We got a bit of a partnership with Nashville the last few years.
Yeah, that's true. I
I
don't
hope
want
we still
anyone
do.
from
Yeah, honestly,
Nashville right now, so
I'd take Yossi.
Maybe Yossi. Honestly, I know they're getting a lot of backlash, and I mean, again, for their scoring right now, and obviously Luke Schen's really mad about that right now. Like, obviously,
No, for
They're
sure.
not getting goals.
Very.
I get it. Either is Edmonton, but no, like if there was a way, like Edmonton found and made a deal with Barry Trotz to say, hey, like, look, we need like I don't know, like we need kind of more. So I wouldn't say just goal scoring is the problem, but Edmonton's kind of got to
Somebody-
get that point.
somebody that can actually
Yes.
finish.
Exactly, like a Marcia
Like-
So maybe, or I don't know about that McCarron guy. Mike McCarron, there's a lot of.
I
bad with
don't
him.
get why he was
No.
ever connected here. He's big, sure, but he
Yeah.
can't skate. And
No, we don't need a Darren.
he-
No,
Like at
we do
all.
not.
well, he's a DNR. He's plays 4C. Why? Well, we have
Yeah.
like if we're gonna go the spine, just McDavid, Draisaitl, Nuge, Henrique.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why are we worried about trying to fill the 4C? And if it is, bring back Ryan
Or
Honestly.
bring back Philp.
or
Like,
Phil.
Philp
he
is
has
good.
done great.
Yes.
And I love like having past Golden Bears on the team. Like that's so cool.
That is true.
And it's just cool. It's cool. Like that's why I like it.
Well, you guys noticed too, and like, what if I know there's such thing as called a free agent signing off at college, and like I thought about it, and I was like, well, there's a couple of guys on the Golden Bears right now because how good a season they're having going in the
so.
second round. They
Yeah.
could have like Marc Bourgeois, big defenseman. You saw him against us; he was humongous factor for him. Honestly, had a really good rookie year for them, and even like I wouldn't hurt to add like another goalie like Tyler Palmer or just even something as
Yeah.
a goaltender prospect. He's leading all rookies and
Well,
rookie
also,
goaltending this
like
year for
also
them.
how good Tyler Palmer has been as a first year in U Sports. Like,
It's
yeah, he's
crazy.
21 years old and he played in the AJ, I think.
It
or
was
Dub?
he started AJ and then he went with the Everett Silvertips in the WHL.
Okay, yeah. So, like, he does have like that higher experience under his belt, but still, like, coming in and doing that, and your like starter goalie gets hurt, and then you have to come in. Like, he's done so well in that. So,
Agreed.
I feel like this is a really good time to kind of transition into
Absolutely.
our
Big time.
ACAC playoff preview.
It's
Yeah.
time to head into the intermission.
Yeah. Also, like, little heads up, we may have some little sound bites
Yeah.
coming for you guys soon.
We're working on some
We are working on
production
some-
elements.
Yeah.
Love
Really
that.
trying to bring up the production value in this. So make sure if you aren't subscribe because we're putting a lot of work into this. Okay. So the men's team, they are taking on Concordia in the first round, second year in a row. And it's been pretty exciting watching them play Concordia this year because it's a pretty big rivalry, and I feel like Nate has a big chip on their shoulder about getting booted from the first round by Concordia last year.
Yeah, and you know what? I felt that last year. I think a lot of guys were heartbroken from last year. You know what? I could feel it in the room. You lose a lot of veteran presence from last year to coming into this year. You know what? I think it's built a lot, and guys that return this year, like Lyons, Gardner, Nyman. After Nyman's first year last year, I think they've really established kind of who they are and what we can do. I know having 12 new recruits this year is a lot. And, you could say it's a retool, rebuild-ish, but, I mean, that first half was kind of tough this year. And
It was
a
kind of
little
rough, honestly.
Yes,
Like, it was.
I won't deny that. It was a learning curve for sure. I think, it was bumpy and rocky at times, and I feel like we kind of come out of that adversity really well.
Mm-hmm.
And the second half, we've dominated and know how to play. Our power play was probably the best in the league in the finish,
Mac was telling
Yeah.
Mac was telling me about that.
which I think they've practiced, like, every week on it. And, like, how about, like, Tyler Bloka?
Oh, my gosh.
Holy.
Chad, I talk about him every single week. I'm just like, this kid is so good and he's so much fun to watch because he gives us highlight reel plays every single week.
Yes. And, like, I don't know what it is for his rookie campaign. I mean, I don't know if any other people are talking about him, through other teams. I've had other people ask about him to me, and I'm like, he's like a one built-in big machine. Like, he is a
Seriously.
bullet to play with. Like,
Like, he doesn't stop.
no.
gives everything every shift. Like,
Every
oh my God.
110%, even when he's like, tired, he's willing to make plays. He comes back, plays defensively. He's got a wicked release. I mean, I'm telling
Unreal.
you, like a mix of a Draisaitl, but can skate in with McDavid. It's
Yeah,
just a mixture of
seriously.
both combination. It's
That's
crazy.
pretty high praise.
It's
It is.
very
To
high
literally
praise.
be-
It's very
To be the McDry.
no, for real though, for real.
It's got that
Because
swagger in him.
Yeah.
oh my God, who were they playing? And it was like end to end.
I think it was Sate. I think
I
had
think
clipped.
it was
I had it
Sate.
clipped. I still have it saved. Yeah, I'll have to show
And
it.
it was end to end, and he like went through 3 defenders,
Yes.
had a sick toe drag, and then just a wrist shot, and it was
Released.
like, oh,
It's the
It was
release.
so good.
And he's just like a great kid, getting to know him even like, on the road trips and stuff. This kid is just built in to win. Like he's such a nice kid. This guy, hands down, and I mean, it's for high praise. I agree. Like he's had, I think honestly, no one's really talked about him a lot. I mean, maybe we have, and I don't know
Yeah.
about other teams, but I know they've been like open about him. But I mean, there's him. You have Ethan Lair having a really good year. for
Lair
his
has
second
done
year.
so well too. Like, I think me and Lexi talk about it at least once a game. How, like, having Lair and Blocka on like separate lines
Yes.
is so beneficial because they both are such playmakers that they make so much open space for everybody else.
Exactly, and it just makes your top 6 so much deeper when you have that spread out. And I honestly think our depth has come a lot open. I think since we've added Odin George the second half, I think he's another unsung hero. Like he literally he's come from Kinsbury Clippers down to the SJ in the Saskatchewan and didn't play a lot of minutes down there. And to be honest, when a coach is scratching a guy here and there, you don't see the potential. And then you come here and play, and he's played like 7 games and he had like somewhat 2 goals, but he's been a factor.
He has. I think I can't remember if I said it on here or if I said it just in conversation to you, or maybe it wasn't even to you. Literally,
knows?
I have no idea.
We're going to find out.
But I did mention to somebody, I was like, Odin George has been like a great fit here, and it's like almost been seamless in how
Yes.
he's come into the team in this second half, and the second half has just been so much fun to watch.
It's been crazy. You know what? I like I said, there was a lot of I would say highs and lows the first half,
For
right?
sure.
And it's a learning curve. And I think it was, it definitely gets frustrating. But when you get out of that, and again, you're playing tougher teams, I get it. But that's how you learn and you build chemistry together, right? I think that's, coaches making it known you want to build a relationship or, with the players individually. And they've done a great job of that, the coaching staff, Felly and Sacker and all of them. So,
Yeah. And also having home ice advantage is huge.
That is massive.
Big time.
Especially against Concordia. I cannot wait for tomorrow. I'm so excited.
You know what? When I found out about it, I was just like, okay, everyone, I told like half our players, like, okay, Thursday, okay, I love that, and I love how it's spread out because compared to last year, it was like Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, that's tough.
It is tough, and honestly, on the players, it's a lot for a weekend, especially like if taking out someone in 2 games or vice versa, it can be challenging. Right?
Yeah, oh, 100%.
And you've seen it with like U Sport as well. They had quite the weekend too.
Yeah.
So it's just it's a nice little one day in between so they can practice, maybe, penetrate focus. But the coaching staff is making it known, for Thursday, we want to dominate. So
Hell yeah. Oh, I can't wait. I seriously, like, it's been almost the only thing I've thought about like all week. I'm just like, I'm so ready for this because, like the nest is going to be packed.
Yes.
It's going to be Nate fans and Concordia fans. And like, I haven't seen the rowdiness of the Concordia fans yet, but I've heard about it all year. So I'm like, just like chomping at the bit to see it. Okay, we should also talk about Nate's goaltending because McCoy Bidwell and Riley Osland have been, and Lachlan Gordon.
yeah,
right?
Lachlan Gordon, yeah.
Like
yeah.
all 3 of them. I know Gordon's played 1 game.
I think he
or
played
2.
2 on
2?
yeah, 1 on
Okay.
Saturday, yes, in Camrose.
Oh, he did play on?
Yes, he did play.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bidwell's been so good. He's been unreal.
Fantastic. Honestly, I really truly think he's taken another level in this game, and I've even told our coaching staff that he's been a battler in net. At times, sure, he like comes out of his net and wants to play it, but he is confident with it. You guys probably seen it even with the Golden Bears game. I mean, he was a battler in that net. He's made sure that's his crease for nobody to come around, and he's very calm and collective, and I love it. And he brings a presence that we need. Obviously, he's elevated, I think, in my opinion, this
for
year.
sure.
And, it's tough when you come in with a lot of newer faces. You got to recognize how they play compared to last year. And I think he sure turned the events big time.
For sure.
Us, so.
I feel like just watching, he's like a pillar of this team because there's been multiple times this year where he has made an outstanding save and all the other guys feed off that momentum and there's plays being made after that. Like they want to play well in front of him, which is huge. And also something I notice is like the crease. Nobody is allowed in there.
No.
And he plays so far out into the blue paint. And when your goalie does that, it shows you that he has the confidence in himself that he can be that far out and still make the save. Like he does not need to be glued to the post or glued to the goal line or anything like that. He's just so much fun. Oh my gosh.
It's going to be a factor in the playoffs, honestly, a force to be reckoned with. I think the boys are all dialed in, and I think he's just only going to elevate in the playoffs. I think we're going to see the best out of him for sure.
For sure, yeah. So
sounds exciting, to be honest.
Honestly, this round's going to get really intense. I mean, I can't express enough learning from last year of what the rivalry kind of was, and now I think this year's going to be a lot just as big because we want redemption from last year. And I feel like, coming into this year, I feel like we're better than what we should be. A lot better.
Oh, for sure.
So it's going to escalate for sure. Battle Edmonton, I don't think you can counter-argue Calgary too, but I feel like it's Battle of Edmonton. Right?
Yeah, like the Nate games do not feel the same as like the Concordia ones. Like we have guys waiting on the ice. Like the Zamboni driver is honking at them. The PA person is telling them to get off the ice, and neither team is leaving. Like it's next level rivalry.
Damn.
And I can't wait.
It's gonna get loud. It's gonna get loud tomorrow.
Yeah, I cannot wait. Like I'm so excited. So. First game is Thursday at the Nest, and then you guys go to Claire Drake on Friday.
Or Clairview, sorry, yes.
Or
Saturday.
Clairview, sorry. Not Claire Drake,
Misinformation with Mac.
That's right.
Another one. And then if there's a game 3 needed, it'll be at the Nest on Sunday at 2:00. So hopefully it's not, but if it is, I have like a lot of faith that having that home ice advantage, the boys will be able to come through on it.
Exactly.
Man, y'all almost got me wanting to stay late. And
honestly,
I know, but the hour drive home afterward is going to suck.
That is true.
That's fair, I guess.
That is true.
But for exhilarating hockey, I mean, it might be worth it.
Big time.
Yeah. And also something else that I want to, like, I could go on about this team for like hours, but one thing that I've noticed like majorly in the second half of the season is penalty minutes.
Oh my, yes.
Because first half, we were taking penalties left, right, center. Did not matter the time of the game. We were taking them. And then this second half, it has like drastically cut down. And also the timeliness of the penalties as well. They're not taking them like at crucial times at the game. For the most part, there's been odd instances, but sometimes it happens.
Yeah, and I really think we've kind of, learned over that first half that, like, you know what, staying out of the box is crucial, right? And
for sure.
I think that it was kind of biting us a bit. I'm not going to lie to that. And it costed some games for sure. And I do think learning from that and being better was, I think, crucial. And honestly, this second half, we've dialed it down quite a bit, which I think we need to, because going forward, it just can't be – it's not a recipe for success when you're taking penalties.
No.
Any team knows that. And I think, when you stay out of that scrum, whatever, let them get the penalty, I think that I would rather kind of see stuff like that than unless you're sticking up for your teammate. I respect that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But in this case, I think that first half was definitely like we just can't afford to do that. And it was, we learned from it, so it was a lot better.
All right, so I'm just going to, name the rest of the playoff series, and I just want you to say your winner of each one.
Okay, I'll do my best here. Let's see.
Okay. We have Briarcrest and Augustana.
Briarcrest. That's tough.
Low key, I would love to see Augustana win this.
Do you mean Red Deer, sorry? Is Red Deer and Augustana's first round?
Or
Briar State get a bye.
oh, you're so right. I'm so
Come
wrong.
on.
Oh my God,
serious.
another one.
Misinformation with Mac.
Okay, sorry.
There
Red
wasn't even
Deer.
that long in between.
Red Deer and Augustana.
All right. Bold prediction. I hands down got to go with Red Deer. I think
Really?
it's Augustana can make you pay. I know they beat us twice this weekend, and I totally get that, but we weren't out of it. I wouldn't count them out. But Red Deer's got home ice too.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
it's tough to bounce back with that. I think Red Deers can sustain that. If it's like I said, any playoffs can be an upset here. So
Totally.
Augustana can come out, beat out Red Deer in 3, or it could be. I honestly think Red Deer might just take them out too. That's my prediction.
Honestly, like if we're looking like statistically
Yes.
and like realistically, probably, especially because like Red Deer has like 2 championships back to back.
Yeah, defending
Like-
champs. It's hard not to bet against them.
Yeah. Okay, I get that, but you know what? I would love to see Augustana just like
Wanna upset it?
somehow upset it. That would be crazy. Okay, and then obviously we have Nate and Concordia. So, and we're hoping for Nate.
Yes, I would agree on that. And winner, I think of ours would have to play Briar, and which you have to go down there, unfortunately.
Oh my God.
But the other side would have to go against Sate. But honestly, I think Sate's dropped their last 4. I don't know if they weren't.
Yeah, they've lost
taking
5.
Last 5 in a row.
Damn.
So,
Ooh.
which honestly, I don't know if that's a little concerning going into the playoffs for them. I kind of think so, especially with the bye. I don't.
Yeah.
That's got to be boost of eager for them, but it's kind of a wake up call.
For sure. Because like losing 5 and then having a bye into playoffs, I think having like some kind of like games to play or
Yeah.
something to play for when you've kind of lost gives you that extra motivation. But
But we
I
saw
could be
that-
completely wrong.
It's so weird. We saw that weird like with Briarcrest last year. You know, they dominated their whole season again like last year. I think this year they've had a remarkable year. I'm going to give
Yeah.
them credit for that.
19 and 5.
19 and 5. They broke some records this year
Yeah.
for the first time in their history. Good on them. And I feel like they did it last year. I think when Concordia beat us. They went to play Concordia down in Briar, and Concordia beat them. Now, that's a big upset what happened
That is
last year.
big.
And then it was Concordia and Red Deer in the finals last year, which honestly, again, probably shouldn't have happened. But,
But,
again,
you know.
that's in the past. So I don't like to go back from that. But
Yeah.
no, it's like I said, you know, I don't necessarily like those buys. I'd rather play, in my opinion. It's nice to have that 1-2 punch spot, but I feel like when you're playing consistent, it's probably nice to get into that round to, you know, be playing and you're fresh. So
For sure. All right. Well, we're going to get ready for Nate to take on the Thunder tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. If you want to catch the action, listen to NR92 at 7 p.m. Me and my counterpart Lexi will be calling that game. And if you want to pay for ACAC TV, then you can watch it and listen to us, whatever you prefer. Thank you so much, Chad.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming.
That
yeah,
was
no,
awesome.
My pleasure. It was awesome coming on. We'll have to do this hopefully before
Oh.
I guess the classes end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
Maybe
sure.
like a playoff or
Definitely.
something.
We'll definitely have to have you back.
Yeah.
All right. I guess that puts us into our Oilers talk.
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right. So, Oilers had a bit of a break with the Four Nations, obviously, and it's not been good coming out of it.
It feels like half the team is still in Cabo right now.
I know. It has been highly unfortunate. Lost the 3 games coming out of the break. Philly, Washington, and last night Tampa. And at points, all 3 of those games felt winnable until they weren't. And I'm online. I'm chronically online and engaged in Oilers Twitter and whatnot. And I'm tired of seeing people blaming the goalies for these 3 games, because have you looked at what's being the performance in front of them?
I'm going to be honest. I've had to stay off Twitter like the last few days because all it is Stuart Skinner hate. And I don't know if you saw yesterday, it was pregame or like the first intermission, and they brought out Dustin Schwartz to talk to Gene Principe about how Stuart Skinner is like doing the best he can, and like basically just saying like he's a good person, like he's a great player, like he does so much for this organization. And I think that's them like seeing everything that's online and being like, hey, we need to calm people down somehow. I don't think it did the trick, but
No, because this fan base hates Dustin Schwartz more than they hate Skinner.
they really do. They really do.
But like the defensive game, forwards and defense, has just been brutal these last 3 games. Like it's been awful, and the turnovers in the neutral zone and at our own blue line have been bad. How
So
many
bad.
how many of these goals have been because of a bad turnover?
Yeah.
And I know people are going to blame Boosh because bad turnover. Boosh sucks. Boosh doesn't suck. Boosh is
Okay.
going to get like $10 million, and it's because he's worth $10 million.
But also, like, stop with the turnovers.
100%. I'm not saying like he's been elite or that he's been playing good, but he's not terrible. We don't need to trade him. We don't need to do whatever.
No, not at all. But
Obviously, you want more from him, and he has to do it, but you can't just put it on Bouchard and Skinner because that's all I'm seeing is
Yeah.
Bouchard and Skinner. And you want to talk about it, I'm going to say something that's going to make a lot of people mad. McDavid needs to do better.
I think we need to cut McDavid some slack.
Sure, but also, this is another thing. Again, like, he wasn't good in Four Nations. I know he got the big goal, and, like, I know he was around it, but that game leading up to that goal, the entire 3 periods, he couldn't catch a pass, he couldn't make a pass, he couldn't catch a puck, he couldn't skate with the puck, he was falling down. He was not good.
Okay, what do you think is going on with him then?
I don't think there's anything going on. I don't think there's like I think this team is out of sync right now, and I think they just need to I hate to say it, dig in. Like Hyman has disappeared.
Yes, he has.
Arvidsson's doing nothing. We're scratching Skinner after scoring goals. Kapanen isn't, his shiny new toy effect has maybe fallen off a bit, but
Yeah.
even like from the first, couple games he was there, first handful, first half, whatever, he's taken a step down.
Yeah, I agree.
Janmark isn't producing goals, which I know he doesn't, but like at least last year, like he had a couple.
Can I say something?
No.
At the trade deadline, I think 2 of the players that are on the block are Janmark and Arvidsson. I know that we talked about this earlier, like off the pod, and I had brought up Arvidsson. You said no. I think they try and get him out because he keeps falling down. Like he can't stand up. He can't like produce a whole lot right now. And also another thing, I know the blender has proven to work in the past in the playoffs. No, like during regular season, I trust Knobloch and I like understand a lot of his decisions, but at the same time, I'm like every single game throwing out 4 different lines, it's throwing off the chemistry and not knowing who you're going to play with every night when we're in like the final stretch, final month of the season. And you've got guys that are normally playing like top 6 minutes, moving down to like third line and like putting them with guys that are bottom sixers. Like it's not working right now. It's not.
No, the blender's not been great recently. And I think there's just a lot of different things going on here that is leading to poor performances on the ice. Maybe a mix of the blender, mix of coming off a break, got a little too relaxed, didn't whatever. But I don't know, this team has been together for how long now? You'd think that 2 weeks off isn't going to ruin their game. So I don't really know what's up. I'm not in that room. I'm not trying to pretend that I know anything about what is going on. But it's just disappointing to see. And like teams go on 4-game losing streaks. I get it. And I totally understand. Like good teams will do that.
But you just hate to watch it.
You just hate to watch it. And it's easy to sit there and be like, well, this is the reason, and get mad about it and go online and say all this stuff and Stu sucks, Bouchard sucks, blah, 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 blah. And I know I literally just kind of went on that rant, but like to take a step back, it's like they're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
It's not like we're sitting here fighting for a wild. We're not. I hate to pick on them again, but we're not Vancouver, Like we're not sitting like, oh, McDavid doesn't have a point. Like, the whole Pedersen thing right now, because now it's the media that he's having problems with.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just, I don't know. We're going to be fine. We're going to get it together. I do agree with you now. I know I said no. The more I think about it, I think Arvidsson is on the block.
I didn't want to say anything because if it doesn't happen, then I feel stupid.
No, listen, I was sitting here like 2 weeks ago saying Noah Dobson's coming to the Oilers. So, like, no. It's okay to sit out there and throw your ideas out there.
And then I was like, well, if I don't say it, and I'm like, and then I come on here if it does happen, and I'm like, oh my God, me and Tristan literally talked about this, and I'm like, I literally have no proof to back it up.
Exactly. So, like, I could see a possibility where to get the right player in, and we have to move out $2 million, he goes, and Skinner stays. Because
For sure.
Skinner has at least been producing when he's in the lineup. I do not understand why we're pulling him out of the lineup. He's still playing good defensive hockey. He's scoring goals. I don't get it. Especially to put in Kapanen, who then goes out and has a brutal turnover last game to give them the 2-1 lead.
Yeah.
Or was that the tying goal? That was the tying goal.
yeah.
But still, he gave them a brutal turnover in the neutral zone. And we lose all momentum off of our lead.
Yeah.
And, like, I love Kapanen. I think he's a great player, but like it's just we can't be making those plays as we're going down the stretch, especially when going down the trade deadline. And we're still uncertain about Kane, and we're still uncertain about so many things if we can actually spend his money at the deadline. And it sounds like Bowman is trying to get an answer by him by March 1st?
Yeah,
Because that's when his no move clause stops.
And like that whole situation is kind of crazy to me. And I know like people will they either love Kane or they hate him. And I think a healthy Evander Kane in Edmonton is like one of the best Evander Kanes you are ever going to see. And I'm not in like Stan Bowman's brain, so I don't understand. Like I don't know what he's doing. But him trading away Kane at the deadline would make me very upset. Like very upset.
But what if it's to bring in, a Rantanen?
Move Arvidsson. Ask Carolina to retain a bit. Take away Arvidsson. Bring in Rantanen because you could bring in Rantanen for 2.3.
If you get Carolina to retain 50, and if you're doing that, you're probably giving up a first plus one of your 3 top prospects. You probably don't give up Savoy, but that's O'Reilly, that's Akey, that's...
I wouldn't hate Akey, honestly.
I really want to... I think Akey becomes something, and I would rather it happen
know.
here. Remember when we traded away Kesselring for Bukestad, and then where no one thought anything of it, and then all of a sudden Kesselring's like a solid top 4 defenseman, right shot, big, reachy, almost exactly what we're missing.
And then Bukestad went
back.
Yeah.
So we just lost Kesselring, and all of a sudden he's an NHL regular defenseman.
Yeah.
That pushed Valimaki out of a job when Durzi came back.
I know.
How much would we love having Kesselring on this team right now?
Probably a lot.
Imagine Nurse Kesselring right now.
Probably a lot.
I'm just saying. But yes, like to get someone like Rantanen, you're giving up a first and a prospect and probably something else.
Also, something that I noticed last night. The camera panned to the bench, and it was after Bouchard's turnover, and Ekholm was talking to him on the bench, and like you could see he was visibly like
annoyed.
Bro, what are you doing?
Yep, and I love that.
Seriously, he needs it. And if he's not gonna listen to Ekholm, I don't know who he would listen to.
No, 100%. I got in my little hockey Discord last night. People were going on saying that having a debate, I guess, on whether it's laziness or just low hockey IQ that causes Bouchard to have his lapses, and I don't agree that it's either.
Me either.
I know he like looks lazy out there. He doesn't look like he takes a hard stride, but that's just how he plays. I've played with people like that where they look lazy on the ice, but it's just body language, I guess.
Then he should probably work on his body language.
Probably.
Because everybody is dissecting it. And, like, the gliding
that's fair.
he's doing, that is actually driving me insane.
No, 100%. Maybe it is a little laziness. Maybe it's a little this. Maybe it's a little bit of A, a little bit of B, a little bit of everything. But, like, there is no one better on the other end of the ice. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
Is he is so good in the ozone. And he's getting better at making moves and walking the line. And I think that has a lot to do with Klingberg being here. And I think he's building confidence again. And we saw it in the playoffs last year. Bouchard can be elite in both ends. But he's just not there right now, and it's frustrating. I think it's frustrating because you know he can be.
Exactly.
You know he has another level to it. It's like, where is it? I maybe the pressure of a contract year is getting to him, and now he's overthinking everything and blah 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 blah. Maybe not making Four Nations has put some like doubt in his mind. Who knows?
I don't know.
Because there was a lot of people at the beginning of the year saying he should have made it, and obviously throughout the year he worked his way off of it.
And then when we were in the Four Nations tournament, I saw a ton of people being like, "Oh, they need a puck-moving defenseman. Oh, I wonder where Bouchard is right now."
Yeah.
But
I don't agree at the time of who went down, of Pietrangelo going down, that Bouchard was the replacement.
Yeah.
Should have been Uyghur. Harley was fine.
yeah. But another thing is, I
Either way.
think Oilers fans were spoiled with last season.
Absolutely.
I get the first 30 games
3-9-1.
brutal, or like up until American Thanksgiving, like it was
Brutal.
a tough watch. It was a tough watch. And then Knobloch comes in, completely turns that team around, and then they go on a 13 game, 14, 15?
Whatever
15.
it was. I think it was
15.
yeah.
15 game win streak, and then they stay like pretty hot
Mhm.
going into the playoffs. Take the Kings to 5 games, beat Vancouver, and in Vancouver's building,
Yep.
and then also beat Dallas in Dallas's building, and then almost come back from 3-0 in the Stanley Cup playoffs or
Yep.
finals. Like, the things we saw last season are not things that most hockey fans ever see.
Especially all in one season.
Exactly.
No.
So I think everybody is reacting so highly right now because we are coming off of such a high emotional season last year that everybody's expecting them to go on like a 12-game win streak and have like this miraculous turnaround when that's not the reality of anything.
Yeah. It just feels like some fans have forgotten what losing feels like.
Yeah.
Um,
It fucking sucks. Don't
It
get
does.
me wrong. Like, it's hard to watch. It's not fun to watch.
but like it happens. Looking at the standings right now in the Pacific, we are holy shit, the Kings have only played 55 games. They have 3 games in hand.
Yeah, because of the Fires, they had 2 that they couldn't play.
Right. Yes, that's right. Okay, so they're 3 points behind us with 3 games in hand. But we're also only 2 back of the Knights with equal games in hand. And like, honestly, like, just stay where you are. Take the Kings on in the first round again. I don't really care. Like, again, like, everyone's losing their mind over the regular season. Like, we're not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
Just make the playoffs and then go win.
yeah. Don't get me wrong. I would love to have everybody clicking and gelling and be one of the hottest teams going into the playoffs.
For sure.
Like, that is the ideal situation, but I get it. Like, you don't want to just, like, skid into the playoffs.
No.
Also, something that I was thinking about last night is I just want to be, like, a top 5 team, top 10 team. Like, our record against those teams right now is not great.
Not good.
And, like, this is a gauntlet of a road trip. It's brutal. They are seeing so many top-end teams. And that Florida game on Thursday,
Yep.
like, they need to be ready to go.
Yeah. But once they're out of this road trip, right,
Mm-hmm.
they get the Ducks, they get the Canadians, the Stars, the Sabres, Devils, Islanders, Rangers. Like, it gets easier. And maybe that's a point where after the trade deadline on the 7th, so that would be after the Canadian game, they get the Stars, the Sabres, the Devils, the Islanders, the Rangers. So not like a super easy stretch, but there's some easy teams in there.
Yeah,
I feel like a
I
lot of
mean-
players are just looking ahead at like the deadline's almost here.
probably.
We'll ramp it up after that when we know what our team is. And I think that happens with a lot of teams. And like there's a lot of teams like Washington last night where there's a lot less uncertainty in what their trade deadline's going to look like.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with that.
No, they're going to go add probably a depth piece or something, but like Washington's not going to do a lot. Toronto might go add like a third line center, but Edmonton's sitting here like, do we have Kane? Are we moving Arvidsson? Do we need a goalie? We need a defenseman. Blah 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 blah. And it's just like it adds a lot of uncertainty to a lot of players, and it just it get like again they say they don't hear this stuff. They hear this stuff. They hear everything.
For sure.
Do they hear us? Probably not.
Probably not.
But could you imagine?
But that would be crazy if they did. Leon Draisaitl, if you're listening, I love you, and I've literally never said a bad word about you ever. You are my king.
Leon is king.
But also something is, I cannot stand everybody saying we need John Gibson. I said this last week or 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks, yeah.
He is a backup goalie on Anaheim. And then also I saw rumors of Jordan Binnington.
I'm not going to lie. After seeing what he can do in Four Nations, I wouldn't say no to Binner. I know your personal feelings about him.
Okay, I'm setting aside my personal feelings.
Okay.
I'm setting aside my personal feelings.
Then Binner can come in, even if he isn't our starter. Skinner goes down, we're down 3-2 in a series. Do you not trust Binner to come in and win you that game?
I honestly don't know, because I feel like the stakes of the Four Nations was, or like the mentality of the Four Nations was different. And I get that like everybody is saying like he is very confident in himself, and like his mentality is so good, and like I've heard it everywhere since Four Nations, and I don't think he's the answer.
I don't think he's the answer.
Wrong,
I think here's where I'm standing. Goaltending is not going to win us the cup, but it's also not going to lose us the cup.
Okay, that's fair.
When it comes down to it, what's going to win us the cup is if we can tighten up defensively and figure out how to put the puck in the net. I have never seen an Oilers team struggle so much to score a goal.
I don't understand it. And we've been saying it all year. Before we started this podcast, every single day we're coming into class and we're like, God, the finishing is so, like, I don't understand. You're getting set up so perfectly. It's basically a wide open net, and you're telling me you can't put it in.
Yeah. I have a hot take here. Podkolzin is just bigger Puljujarvi.
Don't say that.
I don't want to say it. I love Podkolzin, but listen to all the things people are saying about him right now. His analytics away from the puck are good. He does good on the entries. He's a good forechecker. But you want to know what he's not doing? Producing.
Yeah.
He's just stopped shooting the puck entirely. He's always looking to pass the puck to Leon, and he just stopped shooting.
Probably because he doesn't feel like he can put it in the net. Because every time, like, not every time, because he has scored on feeds from Draisaitl.
Yeah.
But he, like, hasn't been able to capitalize on, like, such grade A chances.
Sounds just like Puljujarvi.
Yeah. So
And
it's just like, let me just get the puck to Draisaitl because I know he's going to put it in the net.
And that's why I'm... Okay, time for some positivity, because it's been about 20 minutes of not.
Yep.
It's Savvy season, guys.
It is... Oh my God, I love to see it. He's done so well.
He is, the way he thinks with the puck on his stick and how quickly he decides what he's doing with it to find a guy for a breakout or for a one-timer in front of the net. The way he slips into these little pockets for Leon to feed him for like a one-time attempt. He is all over it right now. And I know it's a very small sample size of 3 games. But he looks good out there. Yeah. And he looks like he's going to be he's going to be our top 6 winger next to Leon all season next season.
Yeah.
And if he can keep going and stake it out, and suddenly he's in our top 6 come playoffs, and we get Kane back, and he's here, and we go get a defenseman, it looks better. If Savvy can stick, makes everything just that little bit deeper.
Yeah, I agree.
I know he's small, but he's a little Yamamoto out there. He's so tenacious on the puck. Yeah. And he, again, like that assist he got in his debut against Philly. Who was that he checked? Was it Sanheim? Might have been Sanheim. Who's a big guy.
Yeah.
He just goes in, pins him to the board, strips the puck, sends it out front on a sneaky little backhand pass from behind the net, and Leon buries it. And it's like, Arvidsson's not doing that.
No.
Podkolzin might do that, but I don't think he has the know-it-all to get that puck in
Yeah.
front of the net like that or strip it as quickly as he does. And it's just he adds an element of the way he thinks with the puck. I cannot believe it, and I'm so happy that again the butterfly effect of how we got him is crazy because everyone now is talking shit about the Rico trade. I can't believe we gave up a first for this guy. He's done nothing all season. Blah 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 blah. We didn't give up a first for Rico. We gave up a first for Rico and Carrick. We decided to let Carrick go. Okay, but you want to know what Henrique opens up? It meant McLeod was tradable.
Yeah.
So we trade McLeod and get Savoy. And now look at him. He's a top 6 winger who's going to be on his ELC for the next 3 years.
Yeah. And you know what? I get like people being upset about like the Rico trade and stuff, but also at the same time, I'm like, he has been so good on the penalty kill. He has, I know it struggled this year, but when it came down to it, like he pulled that together. He really did.
Yeah, 100%.
And I like his play. I like it. He's a great fit next to Brown.
He plays mistake-free hockey.
Exactly.
He doesn't like do anything flashy. He doesn't score a lot, but he also isn't turning the puck over at our blue line.
Exactly.
He makes a smart play and gets it out. I think he's been fine and perfect for the third line role we need when we have offensive firepower like we do. The problem is they're not scoring.
Yeah.
If our offensive guys were scoring and if we were maybe getting an extra couple goals from our bottom 6, like I just don't get Nobby's decision making when like Perry and Skinner have been 2 of our best 5-on-5 producers all year. And like I get Perry's better in the bottom 6 role, 100%.
For sure.
Moving up in the
Yeah,
top
I get
6,
that.
he can't play that minutes. But what are we doing with Skinner? He deserves to be in this lineup. He deserves to be in the top 6. It should be, hear me out, Skinner, McDavid, Hyman, top line. Keep that together.
Yes. Like Skinner works his ass off.
Yep.
He went out and basically changed his play.
Yep.
Like he adapted to what Knobloch was asking him to do. And I say this all the time, adapt or die.
Yep.
And what has Skinner done? He's adapted.
Yeah, no,
And all
like
I-
I have no,
Yeah.
I know for a while, I know there's a while there before the pod, even the early days where I was not a Skinner hater, but I was just like, I don't see the fit.
Yeah.
But he changed.
Yeah.
And I will give him his flowers. Like, I think he deserves to be here now. I think he should be on the top line with McDavid, Hyman. You keep the Podkolzin and Draisaitl Savoy line for now. And then your bottom 6, you have like 9 guys that you can figure it out with. If you trade Arvidsson to make Cap for something, you're not hurting because guess what? You got Kapanen, you got Brown and Janmark and Perry and that. You got Philp you can bring up if you need a centerman. You got Ryan you can bring up still if you need a centerman.
Yeah.
You've still got guys like Pettersson who you signed thinking he could make the NHL. And then like you have so much depth up front. You really need to focus on a defenseman at this deadline. I don't know who. You know, I'm a big fan of Connor Murphy. I wouldn't. This one would be a lot harder to do. I wouldn't hate Parayko.
That would be crazy.
I know, but also like we've been around him for the last like 2-3 seasons, and I know he sells a lot of money or like term on his deal,
Yes.
and he makes a lot of money. But watching it again, maybe this is just Four Nations bias, but he's a lot better than I thought he was.
Yes.
And he's not all that old. And I think next to Nurse, those two could be a wrecking ball.
Okay, I have a potential one.
Ooh, she has one for me.
He came out and said that he wants out of his organization.
If you're about to say Seth Jones to me,
Okay, maybe I won't. I mean, like, why not?
because he's the reason we're stuck with Nurse at $9.25 million,
Yeah, that's true.
and also he's not that good. Okay, like he's good, but like I don't know.
I
If,
feel like next to Kulak, he'd be okay.
okay, but why are we putting $9 million on our third pair?
He's 5.4, so you ask Chicago to retain, and then it's only like 2.
Is he 5.4?
Yeah.
No, Seth Jones makes like $9 million, does he not?
Nope.
What? the-
Okay, well, yeah, 5 mil. I'm literally looking at it right now. I promise.
No, because he's the whole reason that Nurse is at $9 million. He makes his cap hit's 9.5.
Okay, well, my computer's lying to me.
Okay, I'm on Puckpedia. Seth Jones, 9.5 million
Okay.
cap hit.
Never mind.
Year 3 of 8.
Okay, never mind.
So I don't.
Please disregard anything I have said.
I just don't think Chicago is going to eat half of Seth Jones to get him down to 5.25 or whatever that I don't know math. This isn't a math podcast for the next 5 years.
Yeah, that's a long term to be eating that money.
Especially when they're trying to not suck. They're not succeeding, but they're trying. When they sign Marner for $16 million in this offseason, they'll be better.
Yeah, fair.
But yeah, I just.
Okay, also, did you see that they had Stan Bowman's dad in the second intermission?
I did not. Honestly, when the intermission comes on, I usually just mute my stream and go do other things.
That's fair. Okay, so.
Probably homework most of the time.
Had Stan Bowman's dad on, and he was talking about the schedule and how it can either be your best friend or your worst enemy.
Yep.
And he had said something along the lines of, last year it was probably their best friend. This year, it's not great, and it's kind of. And he said basically what you said, where guys are probably looking ahead, seeing the other side of this gauntlet of a road trip that they're on right now. But they need to remember to focus on what's in front of them. So,
yeah,
I thought that was good. Also, they played him out, and I was like, okay, stop. He's actually saying some pretty insightful things right now, but I understand you only have a certain amount of time.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think we should hope. I hope we see a better effort against the Panthers tomorrow.
We have to.
We have to. But
especially they don't have Matthew Tkachuk. This
True.
is your perfect time to win against them. You go 1-1 against them during the season, so you know that you can beat them if it does come down to it, where you maybe see them in the playoffs again.
And then to be fair, I know the Hurricanes are considered one of these gauntlet teams. They only have one win in the month of February.
Yeah. And it sounds like they're looking for a goalie too. So
yeah, Gibson looks like a better fit for them than us.
Yeah.
If Frederik Andersen is down forever, which he always is,
yeah,
go get Gibson, man.
Yeah.
Go Hurricanes, go get Gibson so people can shut up about it.
Please, because I can't avoid Twitter for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
but
real.
I'm avoiding it right now because it just makes me sick to my stomach.
100%. And if they move out Rantanen, bring in Gibson, I don't know. There was another deal I was playing around in my head with, and that was looking at Utah. And if we're looking at a goalie, you do a bit of a package deal, and you go grab Vejmelka, and he's your backup. And then, for a depth piece, you bring in the not-so-Italian Mattias Maccelli, who's having a bit of a down year, but last year he was insane. And I really like the way he plays. And he always cooked the Oilers. And also, his name is fantastic. Mattias Maccelli. It sounds so Italian. And it's not. I think he's Swedish or something.
With a name like Matthias, probably.
Finnish. He's Finnish.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
But
yeah,
he's 24. He doesn't make a lot of money, I'm pretty sure. And Vejmelka is a solid backup. He has been for a while. He's an upgrade on Pickard for sure. And it'd be, I don't think it would cost all that much, to be honest.
Yeah.
If you're looking to make two smaller moves to make slight improvements, that's something I would look at.
Yeah. But the only thing I would be concerned about with that is how it would affect the room if Pickard leaves.
True. I know they love Pickard.
I could really see that affecting the room.
And I'm not saying Pickard hasn't played well enough to deserve his spot.
Not at all.
But it's, you're always looking to upgrade.
For sure.
And I know affect the room.
But we need to win.
We traded CeCe eventually. It happened.
That's true.
Everyone loved CeCe. No one wanted in that room for CeCe to leave, but he did because we upgraded.
But it also didn't happen mid-season.
No, it didn't.
And I think that was a big part of why it happened during the summer.
No, that's a good point.
And not during the season, because we all know that Leon axed the one
Yep.
that they came to in the mid-season, and he was like, I don't fucking think so. And then they were like, okay, well, we'll just wait till the summer. And that's exactly what happened.
And 100%. And that's totally fair and completely different. And we are running a little long.
Okay.
But I think we'll wrap it up for this episode.
Yeah.
Gonna
Not
be
a lot of positivity in this segment. Sorry, guys.
no. Well, there's
The
not.
vibes are down.
We've lost 4 in a row, which is our worst losing streak all season.
Yep.
So like it happens. But like, take a step back. I always love
Yeah.
my boys.
Yep.
I hope they can find a way out of this. They will find a way out of
They
this.
will
They're the
find a
fucking
way.
Edmonton Oilers. They're Connor. They're Leon. They're going to figure out how to
Okay.
score.
I have one more thing to say.
She has one more thing to say.
Okay. So the overtime win against Utah back in November? Yes.
Oh,
November.
long time ago.
And what came out after is I'm pretty sure it was Leon. I don't know if it was ever confirmed, but they said that in the locker room during one of the intermissions,
Oh, right, yes.
they said someone came in there and made a lot of players feel uncomfortable.
Yep.
It is time for a lot of this team to
To
feel
feel
uncomfortable.
Yeah, 100%.
So that is all I have to say.
All right. Well, Mac, you wanna lead us out of this?
Yeah. This was Blue Line Banter with Tristan and Mackenzie. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, YouTube, our Instagram, our Twitter. We're trying to be more active on there, but it's a lot of work. So
It's a lot of work.
Please don't hate us if you follow us and we don't post anything.
Most of my tweets on there are random thoughts I have during a game.
Yeah, and I don't even think to tweet on it. So go tell your Uber driver. I've said Uber driver.
You keep going back to the same well.
I do. I don't know what my deal is.
Tell your bus driver.
Tell your insurance broker about
Ooh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good one.
us. Yeah. Or your financial advisor if you have one. I know a lot of students listen to this, so you probably don't.
You go into court, tell your judge.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell your judge. Tell anybody that'll listen.
Literally anyone.
All right. Bye.
Bye.